Hello, hello, hello. I know my screen is off. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I got a special one for you today. I have two of the most powerful men I know on the Unapologetic Entrepreneur. And today is a very rare moment. We have two leaders on one stage. Oh, we're going to see how they share the stage, ladies and gentlemen. Not just talking business strategy, but also talking relationship behind that strategy. With us, we have Darren Goka. And Jamie Prickett, ladies and gentlemen. Just hold on to your seats. We're about to get started. 1 second. We'll be right back. That's right. We'll be right back, Darren. Hold on. These guys cannot wait to get started. Once again, we got national executive partner, Mr. Darren Goka, and founder of Experior Financial Group and co-CEO of AOG with us today. Gentlemen, how are you feeling? Don't worry about the
amazing.
Comes right back.
Amazing. How you doing, man?
Woo!
Awesome.
We just got to get Darren to get bald. We got to get Darren to get bald like us. Come on, Darren.
That's right.
Oh, let's join the chat. We got Heather saying hello. We got Natasha. Hello, everyone. And we got Reza saying hello. So everyone's on. People are coming on. Don't forget, join the conversation. You guys are welcome to ask questions. And also, don't forget to tap right here if you want to catch the replay or other episodes where we had our guests. So let's get ready. Let's dive right into it. First of all, Darren, how you feeling? Where you at? Talk to us. Where you at right now?
Hey, it feels amazing. We're actually down in San Diego. We're doing some stuff down here for our family and stuff, but been traveling all over, Leo. It's been crazy. As you're building an organization team, you kind of travel all over the place. I'm big on that. I'm big on meeting people in person. So it's been an incredible journey. The last 7 years have been unbelievable. And a lot of thanks to Jamie here on this call and to leaders like yourself, Leo, that are part of the organization, going out helping families, making a difference. So it's been amazing. We're very blessed too, I think, to be in this industry. It's a great industry. It's amazing to be able to help people while you're helping yourself, and helping if other people get what they want, you always get what you want. And it's been an incredible journey, man. And seriously,
we're going to get started soon. Mr. Prickett, where you at? How you feeling, sir, since you're changing your background? You're incognito right now.
Dude, I'm trying to make it so I don't have this fake background. I want it to be my real background, but I don't know how to get rid of it. So
when you go to settings, you put none. But
I did. It says I did that. It's not working. I don't know what's happening.
It looks good.
You want to make sure Michael Jordan is showing?
No, I don't have a none option. It just has auto, and then I have a deselect, which I've done. Oh, man. Anyway, let's not worry about it.
Let's not worry about that. Hey, Jamie has done this while driving. So we're going to dive right into it. I got some questions for you guys. And don't forget, just so everybody knows in the crowd, they do not know the questions I'm going to ask. And more importantly, they don't know the questions you guys are going to ask. So feel free. They're here. They know what the hot seat's like. I felt it last week. So, Darren, we got the first one for you. You and Jamie work together inside Experior Leadership Structure. What's one early on that what is one moment early on that made you realize this partnership could actually move the industry, not just the company?
Oh, that's an easy one. Well, when I first found Jamie, we were looking at the industry and thinking, there's got to be a better way to do this. You know, we were part of another organization, a builder model, the W company, and we were part of that company. And we thought, you know, when we left there, we were told we were crazy nuts. You're never going to come back and do this again. You left the best opportunity on the planet. I met Jamie in March of 2018. We sat in their office and we were comparing some numbers and different competitor numbers and stuff, what was going on in the industry. And I said, well, Jamie, if you're going to be competitive, you got to do this, this, this. And you got to change these numbers over here. And he goes, great, done. Let's make that happen. And we'll change that in the next couple of weeks. And I was like, what? You know, you just like that quickly, once you do the numbers, you'd make that change. And I said, I asked one more question that was very critical for me. I said, are you going to go to the US? And he goes, absolutely. I don't know if he really believed he could go to the US, but he was so confident in saying it. I was like, man, I don't know if I want to be a competitor and try and do my own thing and compete or just join forces. But his confidence, I think, was the biggest thing for me. I really felt like he meant what he said. And what's so crazy right now is 11 years later from 2014, now 12 years later, the model they had envisioned back then that we bought into, Leo, is the model that I believe is dominating the industry today. So it's pretty exciting, man.
All right. Look, so see, I was taught that money and achievement follows speed. So I guess Jamie loves speed. He just right away gets things done. Okay, I guess that's another confirmation. We got one for you now, Jamie. When you stepped into co-CEO role of AOG, right, and shifted from operational CEO at Experior, how did that change your identity, not just your title? Have you changed?
Yeah, it has a little bit, but not a whole lot. The one thing, and I talked with Monty Holm quite a bit about this. He mentioned it to me again yesterday. He says, you know what, Jamie? He goes, we've got to be statesmen for the company. You know, our goal is to be IPO ready by 2028. And, you know, we got to be cautious on what we say. And, you got to be careful with competitors and stuff like that. And I've usually just had not much of a filter. And he goes, but you know what? He goes, a lot of people really like the fact that Monty is very poised, very collected in his thoughts and very articulate. And you just, you know, you're not going to hear anything that's going to make you go, I can't believe you said it. But I'm more of like the fighter, the bull, like go, go, go. And I feel like our personalities really work well together. But what has changed for me personally is I recognize that everybody thinks that their business, their baby is the best, right? And it even goes as far as like other companies think that they're the best. And at Experior, we all believe that we're the best. And what I've understood now is that whatever is best for you is probably best, right? Now, I believe in math, okay? The only subject I was any good at in high school was math. So I just like mathing things out to show people what actually is the best, you know, but I'm doing it in a much more articulate manner. If you were to ask me today what my theme song would be, I might not use that ludicrous one this time. I'm going to be a little more perfect. No, screw that. No,
Maybe you can't change that.
But, you know, not a lot has changed, bro. Not a lot has changed. But what I will say is that I am trying to make sure that I'm not as critical of competitors, because we are building something where we're collaborating together with some companies that are currently competitors. We're now collaborating with, and by the way, there's a lot of good people out there in this industry. And hey, if Experior is a fit for you, then let's go to town. Let's build an empire. We've got an incredible platform, but we have other great people that have built great organizations around this globe. And we're just excited to be able to partner with them and help take this thing into the promised land and do something big.
I must say, you are a lot more poised. You are a lot more poised. I got recordings. I got the first time you were here. I got the second time where you actually drove with your theme song. We got some classics. We got some good footage, Jamie. So I see you more poised and relaxed today. Yeah. This is different.
You know, it might be partly because I'm tired, man. We've been going hard. This last 5 days, like Monday till now, I have not worked this many hours, I think, I mean, definitely in a long time. And I work hard, like I flat out work hard, but this has been a absolutely crazy week. And my week doesn't end until 10 p.m. tonight. I'll be finished my last appointment. And then tomorrow, I've still got 2 more meetings tomorrow. But then I'm going to take Sunday off, so we'll be good for Sunday.
You and Darren are workaholics, because catching Darren, he's always on the go. He's got frequent flyer miles. Oh, we got one for both of you here. When you look back, was there ever a time you disagreed publicly about strategy? If so, how did you resolve it? And what did that teach you both about leadership communication? Uh-oh. We're going
This
to
is a good
the
one.
locker room, ladies and gentlemen, the locker room.
If I can answer this, I think this is where leadership is really refined, and that is in a locker room setting. I don't think you're going to see Darren and I disagree publicly. We might disagree behind closed doors, but Darren is a business partner. Leo, you're a business partner of mine. I don't want to disagree with you publicly. We need to have a front that we are on the same page. And sometimes you have to compromise with your business partners, even if it's something that you're not feeling, right? Just like we have a board of directors. And if we have the board of directors says we got to move one direction and it's voted upon, we have to move in that direction. We have to have a united front, and we can't be, bickering back and forth publicly. Now, mind you, I will throw them under the bus and joke around and say some stuff, but it's all in good fun. I always want to have a united front with our team, whether or not I think that they're right or not.
What do you say about that, Darren?
I'm gonna disagree with Jamie. We've had some disagreements in public, but it was not like crazy ones. It was not like crazy ones. When Jamie said they're gonna go to the US, I said, Jamie, man, we're not ready to go to the US, brother. We need a couple of years. We're still building Canada. I was just getting going with Experior, and he's like, brother, we want to open the US. I'm like, no, we're not ready. We didn't want to go to the US. So I love Jamie, how respectful he is, because he goes, no problem, great. Next week he opened the US. But here's what's great about that is Jamie's a doer. I remember when they told us that Quebec cannot get going, Quebec was behind. It's going to take months and months and months to get people appointed. I remember Jamie stepped in there and got it done within like a 5-hour phone call, and we got people on board in Quebec. So one thing I do admire is, and it forced us to step up. So you want to talk about leadership. Leaders will lead and show the way. Jamie called a shot, took the company into America, even though us leaders didn't think we were ready. But guess what we all did? We responded, Leo. And that's, I think, a cool thing about the speed at which Jamie and Lan have built Experior. Not a lot of people are willing to take risks and put themselves out there as they were. Now, it could have backfired, but guess what? It turned into one of the best decisions ever for the company. So I'm always careful now to question some of Jamie's decisions, because he's made some great ones, but there's lots behind the scenes that we do discuss. And we have an executive leadership council that discusses those things and make sure we go to the team that it's something we've all kind of agreed on. So it's been a great process that way.
Darren, I would agree with you there, except you weren't public about it. It wasn't like you undermined me, even though I made it.
True.
You know what I mean? So that's what I think the question was. I think publicly you were still like maybe going, yeah, we're going to the US.
I was nervous. Yeah, I was nervous.
But I don't think you in one.
What a great decision.
You didn't undermine me. Just to my face.
No, that's true. No, that's true. Publicly, in terms of like our internal leadership group, we had the discussion, but not publicly. Yeah.
That's in the locker room. The locker room.
The locker room. Yes, correct.
All right. We got one for Jamie, and then I'm going to get right to the audience. They're starting to light up. The alliance, Jamie, the alliance positioned the combined organization for IPO readiness within 3 years, right? AOG. That's a massive goal. What's been the hardest internal conversation you've had around this path?
Well, from the moment Monty laid it out to me, and when I got all the facts and figures, and when I met with one of the owners of Mercado Partners, I met with one of the founders of Overstock.com, who is already an investor in it, and I heard these guys speak. Spent a lot of time with them. I was just on a call yesterday with the founder of Mercado Partners as well, actually, and this morning. So as I started getting the information, I never had any internal conversations about whether we could do this. It was about whether we could do it on time. And now that it's been, what is it? It's October, November, December, January. February, 5 months. In 5 months, we've taken the company from, I think we had 10 companies, and now we've got 20 companies, and there's another 35 with NDAs signed. I believe out of those 35, at least 25 of them are going to close likely within the next 2 to 3 months. So we'll be sitting at about 45 companies under the AOG umbrella, and our top line revenue and our EBITDA, if you were to forecast it based on current monthly trajectory, we're already on pace to be that public company, what was necessary for 2028 to achieve. We're already on pace for it today at the beginning of 2026. So now it's like, how do I doubt it? It's already happened, what was needed to happen by 2028. Now it's just a matter of how much bigger are we going to go out than we originally thought. I'm telling you, this thing, regardless of what any of the haters say, this thing has already taken on some crazy, crazy growth. It was actually a strategist that worked with Monty in the beginning to say, you need to do this, this, and this over the next 3 to 5 years. This is dating back to early 2025 when he was kind of putting this whole playbook together. And in 3 to 5 years, we've already done, since the launch of the company, which was 2 months before we joined. So 7 months, we're already doing what they thought was going to take 3 to 5 years. This thing, it's game on. We are taking this thing to the moon. We're excited about it. Can't make any promises. Okay, that's the one thing I'm going to say publicly. We can't make any promises. You don't know the economic conditions, the markets, and how things look. Sometimes, depending on the type of sector that you're in, it might be in a down curve in the markets. You may not want to take it public in that particular moment. But our goal is very clear. It's our goal to be IPO ready in 2028. I believe we'll be IPO ready by the end of this year, but we're not going to take it to the market most likely until 2028. But I believe we're already pacing it. I mean, we're crushing it. We just have to build an incredible track record now to lead up to that.
Look at this, Darren. This is going to be more about that question. What do you want the agents to feel internally about this alliance, about ownership, security, fear, ambition, and you must be honest?
It's an easy question, I believe, because I've known Monty for years. I've known Jamie Leanne now for over 8 years. Monty for 20, give or take, 20 years since I first got involved in the previous company, and they've been nothing but integrous. When you look at their background, the reason that I believe Monty partnered with Jamie Leanne is because of their integrity and their trust and their transparency. And I think to have partners like that gives you a lot of security to know where you stand. And so I've seen Jamie Leanne, when the banks had a payroll miss, the banks didn't do something at the bank, didn't push the button to pay our payroll. I remember them on a weekend literally entering in 300 people's paychecks manually and e-transferring people on a weekend just to make sure people could make their payments on a Monday in case the mortgage was coming out or the debt was being paid. So when you look at this whole opportunity with AOG, what I love about it is, if you look at the Berkshire Hathaway concept and all the companies that come under the umbrella of Berkshire, this has been maybe tried before, but never proven as big as we're doing it from what I know. But you look at the opportunity that everything we now own is going to be internal to the company. I mean, look at E&O, buying our own E&O insurance, having our own CRM, having our own tech stack. Everything is coming together. So our teams are excited. I think initially anyone is going to be a little bit nervous. Is Experior going to change its ways, change its culture? Nothing has changed at all. In fact, only gotten more exciting at Experior since this announcement, because people know the integrity of Monty Home. It's not even a question. They know his background. So for us, it's been super exciting, Leo. And I think for people to get the ability to, if you're only making 10 grand or 50 grand or 100 grand of income, you can get stock of something. Most companies are not willing to give anyone a dime. So if you're out there fighting right now for a company, you don't get any shares or stock of that company, maybe take a look at Experior. It might be a fit for you, as Jamie said.
God. Hey guys, bring on the questions. These guys got this too easy. They're not even sweating yet. Natasha does have a question regarding the book, and you're both in it. Actually, Mr. Jamie wrote it. Darren's in it. So let's see. In the book, you can't fall off the floor. Your book you talked about building from rock bottom and eliminating the fear of failure. As an agent growing inside Experior, how do you recommend we practically apply the floor mentality when we hit rejection and slow production months, or self-doubt? Hmm.
That's a deep one. Yeah, that's a deep one. But I will say this, that activity will raise your belief, right? Too many times people buy these self-help books, and I'm all about self-help books. I mean, you got to study and learn and all that stuff. I listen to audios more than I actually read. I'm more of a listener. But I'll tell you something, too many of these self-help gurus talk about you got to have a mindset of a winner, and you got to have a clearly defined purpose of what you want to achieve in your life, and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Here's what you got to do. You got to work your butt off for a period of time. And as you start working and screwing up and making mistakes, eventually you start getting better. But the harder you work, the more belief you have. The harder you work, the better your attitude. I'm telling you guys, when I'm in the hunt, when I'm on a meeting like this, I go into meetings sometimes, Louis or Leo, I'm like this, okay? I'm like, oh God, sometimes, oh my gosh, I got another meeting. Like I just got out of the other one. I barely had time to go to the washroom and grab a snack. And I got to jump into another one, turn on the Zoom. Hey guys, what's going on? Great to see you, man. And by the end of the meeting, I'm fired up, baby. Like I'm ready to go, right? Because that's activity. It's excitement. If you want to fall off the floor, you first have to pick yourself up. You're not going to read your way out of it. You're not going to pray your way out of it. God will bless your action, not you sitting there singing Kumbaya. You got to get after this thing, right? So that's what I think. I think you just got to get your activity crazy. And the other problem that people think about or often have issue with is that they always are looking to be motivated. I got to be motivated. If only I was more motivated. Ladies and gentlemen, if I only worked when I was motivated, I'd still be living on that 2-bedroom apartment on Willow Road, watching Cops just by looking out the front of my window. That's what I'd be broke still, is what I'm saying. If I only worked when I was motivated, I had to develop discipline. Discipline is when you continue to work long after the motivation fades. And what I found out is the more disciplined I was, the more motivated I became. Isn't that crazy? And now listen, I'm going to preach to myself for a second. Look at it from a perspective of your nutrition, your health, your fitness goals. It's so freaking hard. I'm telling you right now, I'm having a hard time wanting to get on the treadmill and wanting to pump some weights because I'm using the excuse of I'm working hard right now, Leo. I don't have time for it. Bull. I have time for it. I'm not dedicating myself. I'm not being disciplined to do it. But guess what? The minute I do it, when I do it, it's like, oh, I feel so good. And then I'm motivated after I did it to do it again. Problem is, we got to be disciplined to get to the motivation factor.
Darren, what you got to say about that? How those push-ups coming along?
Yeah, listen, man, it's a work in progress, but I'm doing a heck of a lot more than I did in the past. But I think the same thing. I mean, when you look at all the self-help books, and I want you to take another self-help book. I mean, I love the fact that when you look at John Maxwell's got 26 or 29 books about the same thing. He's the only guy I know that can make money on 29 books saying the exact same thing. If you would just lead yourself and go take action, you wouldn't need to take half the courses, spend even 1/3 of the money. Now, I'm not saying it's not good to go spend money on self-help, like Jamie said, but there's a point where you got to take the action. And I think that when you're at their lowest point, I will say this: when the light is darkest, when it's the darkest time in your life, light is easiest to see. And that is the hope. That is the vision. That is someone knocking on your door saying, hey, there's an opportunity. Hey, have you heard about this company? Hey, have you heard about this industry? And so a lot of times the knock comes on the door, but mentally, if you're so down, it's hard to pick yourself up. But Richard Branson says, hey, when presented with a great opportunity, don't try and figure it all out. Jump in and you'll figure it out later. And so that's what we did in this industry, Leo. When we got started, I was $116,000 in credit card debt. I had no house, no family, the vehicle is breaking down. I had no assets, no money in the bank. And I still took my credit card and took a chance on this industry. And it's those kinds of decisions that when you're at their lowest point that can sometimes take you to the highest point. And, you got to fight your way through it. And I can tell you, man, I was sweating. You talked about sweating on this podcast. I was sweating lying in bed, thinking about going to the office, making calls, talking to people. And I said, you know what? That's going to be so hard to do. But what, as Zelfie Taylor has told us recently, choose your hard. It's hard to be broke, but it's also hard to build a business. Choose your hard. Staying at home and doing nothing versus taking a chance and maybe achieving everything. take the chance. Both are going to be hard, but choose your heart. And so I chose this industry and I went to work. And like Jamie said, I was scared to death, man, so many times, scared of my own shadow sometimes, scared of calling people. But what I found was when you ran the numbers by taking action, you started to win. And those wins built more confidence. And as you got more confident, you made more calls. So it's terrible that I have to tell people this, but it sucks because you kind of got to go through all this rejection until you finally see some success. But most people quit during that rejection. They think it's either you fail or you win. I would change the narrative. Success is here. You are here. Failure's in the middle. You got to go through the failure to see success. You don't just fail or succeed and then you walk out. You got to go through the failure. Failure is the fertilizer of champions.
Oh, man. Oh, that's a quotable. Failure is the...
I already got that patent that you can't use it.
Oh, don't worry. I will.
I never heard that one before.
I never heard that either. Oh, we got Jimmy Martin saying, hey, how can I get an AOG shirt?
Jimmy, you should have qualified for our contest to come to Monty's. You would have got a free one.
You know what?
Jimmy, by the way, I will ask the marketing team to get one on the Experior store as well, because I think that'd be cool to have those. Yeah, I like it, man. Little Rhino. Oh, there's Rhino. I love these shirts, man. Good quality. Nice shirt. It's a Nike.
Nice.
It's a Nike shirt. I do have a question for you, Jamie, that's off the script. So we were live when Darren got promoted, when he became the first, let me get the title right, first national executive partner, right? You guys come a long way from this battleground, and I don't even know if you know, I don't even know if you were like, let's make this impossible to get, and you made this crazy number up. I don't know how the numbers came up for the promotions. I wasn't in that room. I wish I was. Now, what was it like getting that call? Because it was completely, I mean, you had to be there. I know he has the recording because he was actually training us on numbers. And he was like, oh, so let's take this, for example. I don't want to use anybody. I'll use me. He usually lets us volunteer who wants to put your numbers up. And he starts doing his, and he goes, wait a minute. Let's go back. Did that just say in this much? Wait, let's go back. Holy crap. Jamie, how did it feel to get that call? Because you actually answer your phone. Because that was random. I think it was like 11 o'clock over here at Eastern Standard. What did that feel like to get that call and have to check that up and say, you know what, Darren, you got it?
You know, it's awesome, but I mean, it's just expected now. Like, and I don't mean to take it for granted, the excitement of it, because I'm excited every time. And by the way, I'm excited for Golka hitting his 1.5 million now. And like, guys, every time someone on our team hits a goal, Morrow just messaged me. I haven't even announced it yet. He just cracked 1.6 million. Angel and Johanna just cracked 2.3 million. Been with us for 13 months. But you know what? In the same message that Morrow sent to me for some recognition I'm going to do, he said, Alfonso just qualified for the 250,000 ring. Which one of those three do you think I was the most excited about?
250,000.
I got goosebumps thinking about Alfonso.
Amazing.
Because you know what? Alfonso,
he's such a good dude.
I'm telling you, 14 months ago, Alfonso spent the last bit of money on a credit card. I'm not even joking. His story is powerful. To get to a meeting in Florida, because he felt it in his heart that he needed to be there to meet this leader along with his leader, with Morrow and that, and they flew in together. And you wouldn't have known. Alfonso was walking around smiling. We needed him to translate. He's the only one of us that could speak Spanish, and we were talking to this group and stuff, right? Because he's from Spain originally. So he's like, speaks Spanish, of course. And I'll tell you something, Leo, when I just heard that this guy that had to put the last bit of money in room that he had on a credit card to get to Florida to go on a meeting that he knew was going to be possibly an important meeting, and now he's just crossed over 250,000 in income 14 months later.
Amazing.
My God, I'm so freaking fired up about that. So yes, I get the call from Darren. It's like, yo, man, that's freaking awesome, bro. We're killing it. But I know Darren's good. I know Darren's going to get every other. If we introduce the Super Intergalactic Firestorm Trooper Award, Darren's going to get it. You know, he's going to get it. I'm more excited when Darren shows someone how to make 250,000 that couldn't pay their bills 6 months, a year, or 2 years ago, or shows them how to make 100,000 that hasn't had success in their lifetime yet from a business standpoint. That excites me even more. But yes, I was excited for Darren. he hit it way faster than I thought he would. I think I should have put it up here more, basically. But but no, I'm proud of Darren, man. I'm always proud of Darren.
Only because it was Darren you wanted to put it up, right?
No, man.
Keep fighting for it, you know. And Jamie, you're right. I mean, we got people on our team that just crossed the first 100 grand and never got that in their previous companies ever. And that to me, like Leo, that's why my wife Stephanie and I built this business. We built this business to go build it for others as well. And of course, we get the benefit of helping others. But I think that's the big thing I've learned about leadership is by helping way more people, other people win and succeed. You're always going to win and succeed as a result. And I think we got, you know, just an incredible group of people. And what I love also about Experior is that our whole leadership team is really on the same page. We don't have different divisions and teams and colors and all this. It's all one group, one team. And I think that's what's really kept us strong as a company, even though we're almost 20,000 agents.
You're absolutely right. You got someone here saying you need to hire someone to announce ring earners going forward. You will be occupied all day to make videos.
No. It's become an underpaid part-time job. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
Jamie, you gotta get your AI. You gotta get your AI bot doing it or something. You gotta do something. It's crazy.
I know, it is.
We had 12 rings in one day, Jamie, that one day.
Well, dude, we had 9 rings one day. The next payroll, 2 business days later, we had another 12 rings. That's 21 rings in like 2 business days. And then it's another 8, and then it's 6, and then it's 10. And and we pay 4 times a week, right? Like twice in Canada and twice in the US. It's like, it's going bonkers, man. And I tell you what, I spent 10 years with my first company and they had a ring thing too, right? Guess how many people I promoted to the ring after 10 years there? Carry the 1, 0. Now we got days where we're recruiting more, where we got more than 10 people in a single day crossing the ring. I mean, the difference with us and maybe some other companies is we're just not as loud about it. You know, I know some companies that every time someone makes $4, they post it online, how amazing they are, right? We don't do that, number one, because the way that some companies are promoting that, hey, this person just made, you know, X amount of dollars in the last 12 months. They're asking for an FTC issue with that because you've got to be careful on how you promote stuff like that. If it's not the norm that everyone makes that kind of money, you got to be careful with that. So we're just a more compliant operation. So we're not going to have to brag about it publicly, but hey, it's happening. I mean, it's absolutely happening. We're excited. And the people that come in here and go to work do some great things. So
here's a leadership question. Leadership at your level is lonely at times. Jamie, what's one thing about yourself in this journey that you have been forced to confront? You know what, Darren, think of that too, because I want you to answer that one as well.
Yeah. 7 years ago, when we first were trying to get into the United States, and 5 years ago, we got our first licensed agent, 5 years ago this month. And it was part of Golka's hierarchy, actually. And 7 years ago, though, was when we started the venture. And I was speaking with a guy that runs a valuetainment channel, and the guy's a big leader and built a big agency in the US. And I remember talking with him on one of his monthly calls that he had for different business owners and stuff that you pay a monthly fee. And I remember having a conversation with him offline because I told him what we were doing with Experior and trying to go into the US. And I asked him for some advice on this monthly leadership call. And he's like, hey, Jamie, I'd like to take this offline. And we ended up having a conversation privately. And he told me a little bit about how they raised capital a few years prior and, you know, they had some different investors. And he said, Jamie, what we'd like to do is look at considering, you know, buying Experior, and we'll go into Canada. And then by default, you'll be in the US and you can operate under our umbrella kind of thing, right? But we could still be Experior and proud and everything else. And I knew the answer was no right off the bat in my mind, but it was still, I respected this guy. He's a great leader in the business. And I have a lot of respect for him. But I was like, damn, that's crazy. Like, I can't believe we're getting big that this guy is interested in us. And it made me feel kind of good, right? Like, hey, this guy, you know, made me feel good about what we built here. But then he says, Jamie, you know what happens? He goes, when you got millions in your bank account, he goes, you operate at a different level. And at the time, we might have had hundreds of thousands in our bank account, but not millions at the time. And I was like, huh, that's interesting, right? A lot of security comes with that, you know, and I started thinking in my head. But anyway, the answer was no, you know, with all due respect, not something that we were going to do, but appreciate you. And we never ended up doing any business together, right? Still have a lot of respect for him. I hang up the phone. I walk down the hall. I go into the washroom at our office. I looked at myself in the mirror and I started crying. As I looked at myself in the mirror, I started crying. And I was talking to myself inside of my head. And I said, Jamie, do you think you can do this without other leadership like this? Like someone that's been there, done that type of thing? Like, do you really think you have what it takes? I was asking myself this, and then I was talking to God, like, God, like, can I do this? Do I need this? Are we going to be able to get into the US, and are we going to be able to do this on our own? I know nothing about the US market. I have no contracts there. This guy's willing to take us under his wing and own us. By the way, fast forward, that guy ended up selling his company. But I was like, God, what do I do? And I'm like, no, you can do this, Jamie. And I looked at myself crying, still doubting myself. Later that night, I called my dad. I said, hey, Dad, you're not going to believe this. And I called him like all the, you're not going to believe this, Dad. I had this big guy worth millions wanted to buy us. And, look at how great our company is. And we could become millions overnight and stuff. And I said, he goes, what are you going to do? I said, well, I'm not going to sell. I said, we're not willing to lose control. I mean, we promised everybody and we want to take this thing, and stuff like that. I said, but I got to be honest. I'm just scared because like we've got all these things ahead of us. And we don't know what's coming. And then my dad says, he goes, Jamie, he goes, I don't know anything about your business. And he doesn't. He goes, I don't know anything about your business, but I do know that there's a reason they want to buy you because they see what you can do. He goes, go do it and don't sell your company. He goes, for what it's worth, and my dad's just being humble, like for what it's worth, I don't know anything about your business. I'm just telling you, don't sell your company. And I was like, well, I'm not, Dad, and thank you for that. And it didn't really even mean a lot. Now, at the time, it was like, yeah, of course, I'm not going to sell it. But inside, it was almost like just like my dad, who has no business acumen as it pertains to the insurance industry. I mean, he's obviously a very smart man, or is a very smart man, but he has no business acumen as it pertains to our industry. And he said that don't sell your company. And for me, that was probably the hardest thing I'd ever confronted in terms of doubting whether I could do it or not in that moment. And we were blowing and going and things were going well, but that's where I doubted it for a moment. And after that moment, I tell you, God is my witness, I haven't doubted for one single second. I knew that whatever I touch, if it doesn't turn to gold right now, it will eventually turn to gold. And I have that mindset that as long as I keep moving forward, I'm going to keep getting better. I'm not perfect. I'm going to screw up all the time. I do screw up all the time, but I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to keep getting better and nobody's going to stop me. And that's kind of the mindset that I have. And I think if you have that mindset and realize you're not going to be perfect, but you can keep moving forward. That's all we can do. And I'm excited and I'm very happy that I didn't doubt myself for too long and I sucked it up and I went whack, whack, slapped myself across the face. And by the next day I was back on the horn and doing my thing,
All right, Darren.
Only at times. Yeah. I mean, I was very blessed because in my first company, I had mentorship from multimillionaires and great leaders. And the harder part, I think, when coming to Xperia was, like Jamie and I got to know each other really well in the very beginning, just had a lot of trust and faith in each other. And he was doubting me for the first bit, what I really deliver, what I promised I would do. And then I just went to work. But I think the biggest thing, there was times where I said, maybe I wish it would have been under Frank or Morrow because I would have had their leadership support as well. And maybe all my crazy thoughts and my fears and anxieties would have been, they said, hey man, stop thinking that way. You can do this. One great thing I'm always grateful and thankful for is my previous leadership. Without their belief in me when I did not believe in myself was how I got successful. And there many times, I think the greatest thing you can do for people is you got to, give belief to people when they don't believe in themselves. And that's the greatest thing that I think leaders do. And Jamie kept doing that with me. And, I would call him and he was the greatest leader for me because he was always there. He always made time. He was always responsive. It made me feel good, made me feel special. But I think that's one trait I learned from Jamie. And then I learned from my leadership before was always be there for your team and be responsive and be on top of stuff. Like I just talked to Jimmy today, a great leader in our organization, and him and I just, had a disagreement on a couple topics. But by the time we were done, we're on the total same page. We're like, let's do this, man. Let's go. But that's what it takes, I think, sometimes is to be lonely. But it's when you're lonely that you got to reach up and ask for help too. And I think that's the hard part. Some people think they're always alone in this business. But it's not a sign of weakness that you ask for help. It's a sign of strength that you want to grow. And I remember doubting myself, Leo, when we were hitting $500,000. We had that income in the previous company, and we're almost at 1.7 today. And I don't say that to brag. I say it to prove a point. if you'd have asked me when I got into this industry, would I ever have a chance of making $1 million? I might have said yes, but I'd be lying to myself. I'd be doubting myself. So I think that me being able to reach up to Jamie, but then also now Jamie has Monty to reach up to. So we've really been able to attract, I think, some incredible leaders to our company. And now we've been attracting $1 million earners to the company almost on a monthly basis right now, which is incredible. So we obviously are doing something right. And so I think that's a big part of it is don't be afraid to reach out, ask for help, but it's a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness.
Okay. Wow. We got a lot of tidbits we got to take from this one. Hey, Darren, we got a question from your perspective. Jamie, you're not allowed to look at him. We should take you out the room for this one. What's one strength Jamie has that surprised you? And one weakness you've seen him wrestle with?
Oh, wow. I'm glad you're not asking Jamie this question.
Maybe we'll take him out for this one. You don't know.
One strength.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, the strength I think is an easy one. Jamie's a visionary. He had a vision 12 years ago to change the industry, to make a huge impact, to right a lot of wrongs, and he's attained that vision right now. I think what's interesting is Monty Home had the same vision years ago and wasn't able to complete that vision where he was at for many years. And I think those two coming together is the fact that they both have massive vision. I mean, to give widespread ownership to all agents, not just the intergalactic superstars, is mind-blowing. That's one strength of Jamie. A weakness, I think, I don't know if it's a weakness, but he sometimes just speaks his mind and it could get him into trouble. I'm like, and I think at a point, and Jamie, I can say this because I sometimes felt like I was his accountability partner, or maybe a little bit of his personal development coach a bit, because Jamie could get angry easily and could, because he wants to move so fast. And if you don't want to move with him, it's like, I mean, you're not against him, but he feels like, why don't you want to go to the States? What are you talking about? Let's go, let's move. He moves so fast. It's like a light speed, Star Wars cruiser. It's like the Millennium Falcon. And then you got people that are moving they're driving only in a Ferrari. It's still fast, but not as fast as Jamie. So I think that's been the hardship for him, is when he wants to move so fast and others don't. I think that frustrates him. But I've seen Jamie really change over the years to become a really amazing, even more amazing leader. And I think that's why Monty, after studying what Jamie was doing and the way Jamie operates, and Leanne, by the way, I'm going to not leave Leanne out of this. They're both amazing operators, but their integrity, I think, is one of their other greatest strengths.
By the way, Darren's being too nice, because I mean, it is true. I do react very fast, and sometimes that's a good thing. I think with the US, I think it was good. We got the ground laid, but I've had it really backfire on me. And even just last night, I had a message come in. I got pissed off. I responded to it. I said, guys, what's up with this? And I sent it. And then my wife took 10 seconds more to process it. At first, she agreed with me. She's like, yeah, why would they? So I messaged someone on our staff, and I said, put the guys to whatever. And my wife was beside me. It was right after we had a dinner with Exam FX, actually flew into Canada to take us out for dinner. And after 10 seconds, because my wife processes it, she goes, well, Jamie, maybe it was because of this. And I went, oh my gosh. And I just kind of blasted them. I said, okay, I'm going to message him back. So I go, and she goes, no, wait. She goes, let them look into it anyways, and then apologize after. I'm like, oh yeah, because it could not. Maybe it's not that, but it turns out it wasn't their fault. It was me misunderstanding something. And actually, by waiting and letting them do it, we actually found out what it actually was supposed to be like. Anyway, it's hard to say. It was like a triangle of events that took place. But all I had to do was wait 10 seconds, like my wife, rather than go, what the hell? It is a bad thing that I have. I'm recognizing it. I got to be slower to respond sometimes. And it's
No, that honesty comes out. Now, since we asked Darren that.
Let me tell you about Darren's faults.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
No, we don't have an hour, Jamie. We only got 20 more minutes. Let's not go there.
No, we don't.
And my wife is here too. I don't want her to know. She's right behind me. I don't want her to know.
There's no
time. Actually, you know what? Real quick, I got to tell you. So, number one, that's not a real hairline. He has air plugs. No, I'm just kidding. No, the one thing with
my hair, you said, right? Yes.
One thing with Darren, and actually, I'll tell you this. I had a conversation with Darren about this, is that it's not even a fault. Most people would love this. It was that he was too nice. I was like, bro, I have a hard time trusting you when I met you, I had a hard time trusting you because I was like, there's no way that someone is this nice. He's always complimentary. He's always asking how my kids are. He finds out my son's sick. He's the first one to call, or one of the first ones to call to ask how he's doing and how's Leanne, how are you guys married, whatever. He's too nice. So I didn't believe him. I'm like, yeah, it's a little sketch, you know. But I'll tell you what, 8 years later, Darren, that is actually a good quality to be nice. I was a bit more of an asshole than you, so I just didn't believe you. So.
being caring is being nice. Yes,
you are. He's a very caring.
I do genuinely care for people. That's one of my, maybe that's sometimes a bad thing too, when people run over you because you're too caring and then you just take advantage of it. So you got to be a little careful that way too. It probably being too nice isn't good either.
I can see that people mistaking your kindness for weakness.
Yeah.
All right. There's a perception that leaders always agree. Let's break the myth. What's a time when you didn't see eye to eye, and what came up? The tension that ultimately made this company better. They're thinking about time. Look at them.
I'll tell you one. Well, I mean, obviously there was the time with the U.S. side, right? And there was, they thought I was crazy, and we went forward with it. Another time was when I disagreed with Andrea Rogers on something. She's a part of the ELC. She's a part of Darren Golka's hierarchy. Andrea Rogers, she lives in Jamaica half-time and now in Quebec half-time, and she got a great organization with us. And she told me with our legacy plan, I don't know if you know this, Leo, but our legacy program, which pays out indefinitely, right after you hit the gold standard. Well, the silver used to be the only one we had. We didn't even call it silver. We just called it the legacy plan. And it was just a 10-year buyout on the block of business, on your agency rather. 10-year buyout. Andrea Rogers brought up, she goes, Jamie, a legacy is longer than 10 years, in so many ways. I'm like, come on. And she argued this point for several months on almost every ELC meeting. And I would shoot her down and go, Andrea, like, this doesn't make sense. And then finally I was like, okay, I'm just gonna let's listen to this. And we started strategizing around it and how we could do it. But Andrea was right and I was wrong. And we ended up going with the play and designing it so it made sense for the upline leadership that has the code. It's just one of the best things we ever did. And that was out of us absolutely disagreeing, me and Leanne both disagreeing with Andrea Rogers. And now it's probably one of the best things about our company is that legacy program. And it just got better because Andrea pushed on it. So that would definitely be one I would say.
Darren, anything you remember?
Again, I think because this company was always focused on growth and success and taking over the industry, as far as some disagreements, I mean, it's more so maybe things didn't happen as fast as I wanted. I mean, we wanted bonus pools a long time ago, and then couldn't come fast enough. Well, I think Jamie was trying to protect the company as well and not put too much, out there.
Somebody else is listening, lower the volume.
There's some background coming in. Maybe have to mute. Maybe Jamie has a mute on his side. So I don't know about, I think leaders always agree. That's not true. We have lots of leadership discussions where we don't agree on stuff. But I think at the end of the day, it's always what's best for the company always trumps everybody's independent individual needs. Like when I was part of other leadership councils and stuff before, and also be on the ELC leadership council with Experior, we don't always all agree because each one of us loves our own organization, wants our organization to thrive. So we want to push it this way or push it that way. But at the end of the day, I think good leadership is also about compromise. And, I've made many mistakes as a leader and have to own up to that and have to make changes and get better. And I think that when it comes to agreements and decisions, you want to look at the good of the whole versus the good of the few, the good of the many versus the good of the few. I think that's one thing we've been great at. So I think that disagreeing is okay as long as you finally get to a point that it's going to be good for all. And Jamie, love your little girl there. She's adorable.
Yeah, I know. This is typical. This is how we work. Sometimes we're on Zoom and everybody gets food.
This is our baby. Phoenix is 5.
Phoenix, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for that answer. Let me give you. This is one more question, and I'll close this out. I am going to make you both promise to come back. You get the eyebrow. Oh, if someone's listening wants to build something that lasts, whether it's a team, a company, or a legacy, what's the single most underrated leadership lesson you've learned through this journey together?
I'll start with that one. And I wouldn't say it's something that I've learned together, like with Darren per se. I mean, this is just something I've learned with everybody, is that people want to feel important, and they are important. And I think that one of the most underrated leadership traits that I think is so powerful is accessibility, being available for people, being within being able to connect with people that need your assistance, need your help with something, whatever it may be. Yes, you sometimes just have to delegate and you have to point them in the right direction. But I think being accessible, it shows people, like, one thing that, especially as you get into higher up positions, like if Darren Golka has an agent that calls him that maybe hasn't spoken to him before, he answers that call. They're like, oh my gosh, Darren took my call. I don't know if you guys remember, I remember my old company, Darren, and there was like big time leaders in that company. I mean, big time. I mean, now most of ours are bigger than them, but big time leaders in my mind, they were like, anyone that was making $1 million plus were like untouchable, and they actually were untouchable. Like I would never have their number. I would never be able to talk to these people. I'd never be able to message them and say, hey, give me some advice on this. I find that our leaders are so approachable. And I think that's an underrated quality in a lot of businesses and companies. And I'm so proud that our leaders are approachable. They are accessible. And I think that's powerful.
Darren.
I think that's, I think very true, Jamie. And I have my calendar links that a lot of my leaders have. They automatically book my calendar, and I'm very accessible for meetings, etc. But one thing I've learned too, when you have conflict, man, picking up the phone and just having a conversation. I've learned that, just like today, picking up the phone, just having a quick conversation, getting to know the heart. You can't put your emotion, you can't put your feelings through an email or a text. And I think a lot of leaders hide behind emails and texts, and just pick up the phone, have the conversation, the uncomfortable conversation, and the sooner the better. I know some leaders hate conflict. In a people business, you're always going to have conflict. Pick up the phone, have the conversation faster than later, sooner than later, and it can solve a lot of issues fast. And 9 times out of 10, you actually were on the same page, but for some reason, you thought you weren't. And so I think that's one thing I've learned is to deal with things faster and head on, rather than letting it faster become a major issue.
All right, Darren, if you have just lower the volume. So this one, it's something else. I don't know if you have Facebook on any other device. That's the only reason it's echoing.
Okay, I'll just turn it down.
It's okay. It's cool. Thanks. I want to thank you both for coming, but I got one more question. What's next? Like, what's next, Darren? What's next? I mean, we're at 1.6. What's next? What we're doing? What's the next big goal?
You want to shoot first? You want me to go, and then you can end it? Once you end it, Jamie, with your vision, I'll jump in, and then you end it.
Yeah, go for it. Sure.
I mean, for us personally, it's how many leaders can we get to their goals this year? One of the goals is to have 100 direct agency owners, and then having over 100, having at least 20 people make $1 million a year in our organization, and having 500 executive directors, which we have well over a couple hundred already. But I think the biggest thing is just getting more, helping more and more agents attain their goals, their vision, their future. And I just love when I see, Hernan's crossed over 1,700 agents, and I see Andrew's over 1,000, Pinder over 1,200 or 1,400. We see leaders that never had 100 agents now have 100 agents, and people that never made a 6 figures, like Maria Zapata, they have to 6 figures, and Rory Seawald, 23 years old, becoming an executive director. He has 8 other executive directors in his business already, and he's now seeing the reaps and rewards of that work. And I just look at all these leaders, our newest, $1 million earners, and just crossing over and with them and amazing their leadership, their whole team, the team elite. But there's so many cool things happening that I never saw before in my previous company. So I'm like, I guess I'm just so thankful that we chose this company, but also that we did the hard work. And you listen, again, you have to work hard to build something great. To get to a high level, you got to work hard. So our vision, Leo, has been expanding all the time, because I never attained $1 million income, much less 1.6 or 1.7. That never happened before. But I think I had to push to expand our vision, but then also expand the vision of all the people that we work with. So the sky's the limit right now. Our goal is to take Experior to 100,000 agents, but I'd like to take it to 500,000, have 100,000 in our own organization. That means all of our leadership team is going to have a share of those 100,000 in the mothership of 500. So I think it's rare to think so big and bold, but because of Experior and the compensation, the model, the leadership we have, we can be bold now. And before it was more of a hope and a prayer. Now it's more of a when's it going to happen attitude. So we're pretty freaking excited. I got to be honest.
All right. What you got, Jamie? What's next?
So the short-term goal for Experior is this year crossing over 50,000 licensed agents. We're about to crack over 17, so we've got to triple that number by the end of the year. I believe we can do it. We've got so much crazy momentum going on. Obviously, taking this AOG into the public market is on my mind day in, day out. But those are probably my two biggest goals right now for the organization. I have other things like, inside of 10 years in the US market. I say 10 years from when we got licensed. So by 2031, or when we got our first licensed agent by 2031, I believe we'll have more people making 6 and 7 figures than any other company in history. And after only 10 years in the US market, I think that's entirely achievable, especially when we start seeing like 10, 15, 20 a week or more crossing over the 6 figures. It's going to be unbelievable. So that's where our head's at. I'm excited, and it never gets old, It's hard keeping up with the videos though. I got to be honest, those 6-figure videos, it's hard to keep up. But I might get an AI thing, but it means a lot to people and I want to continue to show the love. I'm just so proud of our team. This is a dream come true for us. I still remember our first person that made $1 million, our first person that made 100,000. Those are 2 moments that I'll never forget, and it never gets old. And I'm just excited to keep showing people how to change their life, and in the process, continue to prove the haters all wrong.
Oh, sorry, that's a censored version of you. I'm so proud of you. Are you ready for the convention? I hear. Are you guys ready? I hear this is going to be one of the biggest ones. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, dude. We got to get 5,000 people at that convention this April. That's. I want to get 5,000 people. I think we can do it. We got to continue to push. So if you're watching this, if you're part of the team, if you want to be a part of the team, make sure you get your registration done. It's going to be hands down. I think, even though it won't be the biggest convention in the history of financial services, it damn sure will be the best. Real people, real ownership, real opportunity, and you can find that here.
Oh, all right. Darren, any final words before I close this out?
No, listen, the way that we're going right now, it's a great place to be in. As a leader, I respect all the companies out there. There's so much room and opportunity. I work for an abundance mindset, and I think that people say, oh, stop taking people, stop stealing our people. No one owns people. People have to make their own decision. But I love the fact that we built a platform where everyday ordinary people can win. And our compensation model is one of the best I've ever seen in the industry. It's why we are attracting so many people to come to Experior. So if you haven't ever looked into Experior seriously and looked at what we're doing, take a serious look at it. And like Jamie said, if it's a fit for you, fantastic. If not, I'm going to still cheerlead you to go win big at your current company. And I think that's what's really cool about our leaders is they want to win big and do it right and grow this business, but we want to do it with the right people. There are some people we don't want in our company, frankly, that are messing up the industry. And so if you're a game player, you play games, you want to buy and steal clients and business and people, our firm isn't for you. But if you want to do it right and build it with respect and trust and dignity, then this is the thing for you.
All right. Well, let me close this out. Darren, make sure you do, because there's actually coming from you.
It's not, bro. I got mine turned right down. I'm not sure what's going on.
Oh, that was that. Oh, I thought it was you. Oh, that was Jamie, I guess. Okay, we got it.
Sorry.
All right. I want to thank Darren and Jamie. Thanks for being real, being honest, and being strategic today. And to everyone listening, there's a difference between growing something successful and building something that matters. If today taught us one thing, is that true leadership is not that you never disagree. It's about how you navigate through these disagreements how you preserve culture while scaling, and how to hold each other accountable, not just in numbers, but in the people you serve. We'll see you guys next time on the Unapologetic Entrepreneur. It's been an honor, a pleasure, and a privilege. Remember to keep going on with action. All about action. It's been an honor, a pleasure, and a privilege to be with you guys here today.
Thanks, Leo.
Be blessed.
Thanks, brother.